Alright, so we are running Hotline Miami 2, the wrong number. It is the sequel to Hotline Miami 1. We're currently playing the PC version, the hard mode category any percent NG+, which means we're going to play with a save that has everything unlocked. We are not gonna play the prologue, which is pretty much the tutorial level on the game, and the bonus level called Abyss we're not gonna play. As for myself, I'm called AshmoreKidd. You can call me Ash or Ashmore. I currently own pretty much all the full runs roll records for the game, any percent NG+, hard mode any percent, new game, and NG+, all levels. I'm joined by Jackie Wright, who...
Hello, I'm back.
Yeah, he's back from the Borderlands 2. He healed up quite a bit. He actually had the world record for Hotline 2 any percent new game plus, and
A long time ago, yeah, a long time ago.
also the new game. You had that at 1.2.
I did actually, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Bit of a god gamer. Although Ash has cemented himself as the Hotline 2 god now.
So
But, I guess we can get started.
yeah, we can get started. So the timer is gonna start when I press yes on the down under level. So for the timer, we are going in like 3, 2, 1, and go.
Alrighty.
Alright, so the main difference between normal mode and hard mode in Hotline Miami 2, great, first death, is that the level is flipped. You don't...
There's already a lot of those.
The level is flipped, you have more enemies, they react far quicker, and on top of that, when you pick up a weapon on the ground, you don't have the full amount of ammunition you would normally have. And on top of that, when you drop a weapon on the ground and you pick it up again, it has even less ammunition. So which pretty much means that we're gonna have to be very careful about what we do with our fire weapons. Oh my god, don't kill me, please. Don't kill me again, please. There we go. So, pretty much on this game, you play as different characters with different abilities. On this level, we have the opportunity to play as different ones, like Corey, that has the ability to roll, Mark, that starts with MP5s. The reason I picked Tony, the Tiger Mask, is because he kills in one hit with his fists. And on top of that, there's an enemy that only can be killed with melee weapons. So that pretty much renders most of the other choices useless to me.
Yeah. On the first level, there are enemies that can only be killed by melee, as Ash said, and that is the first instance in the game actually of them. Like in normal mode, they don't exist. Only in hard mode, right?
Yeah.
The chainsaw enemies, yeah.
Yeah.
So Tony is, if you're familiar with Hotline 2 speedruns at all, Tony is known as pretty much the worst character, because he can't pick up weapons, and seeing as how gun-centric Hotline 2 is, you know, having to like bait every enemy in the game with Tony is just completely awful. But on the first level, he's actually quite useful. So on hard mode.
Yeah, especially when the level is like so small in comparison to the rest of the game.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see how bad Tony is in this game when we get to a later level where we're forced to use him again. But yeah, a rare usage of Tony. Right?
I know that I know some people use Corey, but I don't like using her, so there's that.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much have to juggle between melees and guns, right? But as Ash explained earlier, any gun you pick up in hard mode has half the ammo, and it will keep on halving itself as you drop the weapon again. So like juggling guns in hard mode is actually usually not a very good idea, because you'll just have no ammo in the gun eventually, or very quickly. Yeah, and hard news, Hotline 2 it's definitely more RNG dependent than the first game in terms of the gun drops. The guns that you get off enemies are definitely it definitely matters more than say Hotline 1. On this level, for example, you can get 2 types of shotguns and 2 rifles, and you pretty much want to see rifles everywhere. You don't really want to see shotguns. simply because rifles have more ammo, and you can kill more enemies with one pickup of it. But the RNG there wasn't too bad, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty alright, actually. And we're picking J because since we don't have a lot of ammunition, you just throw the weapons at the enemies and they just die. So that makes it far better than using Irving or the useless Dallas.
Yeah, having Jake there, as Ash said, having the lethal thrown weapons kind of mitigates the bad gun RNG you can get on that level sometimes. And here we're playing as the pig. I forget the pig guy's name. I don't know.
He's called Martin.
Oh, Martin. Okay. That's probably mentioned like once in a cutscene. But he doesn't really have any special abilities. But we pretty much want to see pistols here, simply because they have 9 shots compared to a shotgun 3. There's also a strat, which I think Ash is gonna. Yeah, he's gonna go for this. But this is quite a difficult strat. Essentially, he's gonna be chased here by a SWAT guy that's like circles the screen, and he needs to pretty much avoid him as he circles around to him and kill every other enemy before he gets to him. Here he is. Here, he's just gonna wait for him. There we go. And if you kill every other enemy on the screen apart from him, you can end the level early. Usually, you have to kill the SWAT guy and grab his keys to unlock the last door. But doing it this way, you don't have to, and this gives a big animation as well. So, nice job.
Yeah, and so the reason why I played it safe behind the door is because if the SWAT guy kills you during your animation walking inside the testifying room, it pretty much crashes the game. So I don't want to restart the entire level just for that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that actually. Yeah. So yeah, so that's Act 1 done. Moving on to first trial. So this is the first writer mission. Essentially, his mechanic is if you, he starts non-lethal essentially, so you can't kill enemies. However, if you continue to spam left click when executing somebody, he will actually murder them, and you have to murder 2 enemies before he goes into Berserker mode, and only then can you pick up weapons. But as you can see here, Ash isn't doing that. He's just using a bat to take out people non-lethally, pretty much just because it's a lot slower to actually get the Berserker mode going.
Yeah, but we're gonna use the Berserker mode on later down the line in Act 4.
Yeah.
And one thing here, there's one difference between the PS4 version and the PC version is you can pretty much skip the animation on the first guy getting killed. I've never been able to make it work on PC yet.
Guns here to clean up with.
So when you go to the lady over there, be careful because she tells you don't come inside, and if you do, she just shoots you and kill you, and you have to start all over again. And it can be very infuriating when that happens.
That's the classic one, yeah. Jack, please shush. I was the first to do the skip. Well, you didn't upload an IL run, Ozzy, did you? You missed your chance for the free recce.
Oh, and I didn't pay attention to the weapons here, but that should be fine. Okay, 7. Okay, we're good. We have good ammunition here, good weapons. That's all good.
Yeah, again, automatic weapons are your savior in Hotline 2. You pretty much only want to see automatic weapons. In a case where you don't get any, your level and screen will pretty much always be slower, and also a lot less safe as well. But we're getting pretty good at Uzi Luck here, so.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much Hotline 1 is pretty much melee-centric, and Hotline 2 is just all guns and blazing.
Yeah, pretty much. And
So...
seeing as, yeah, because Hotline 2 is so gun-centric, as Ash said, the RNG can have a lot more of an effect on the outcome of your run than it probably should have. Not to say that you can't, like, play, you know, still complete a screen with, say, a pistol or a shotgun, but it almost always will be a decent bit slower. But that was pretty smooth, though, all things considered. This guy we only play as once in the entire game.
Yeah.
We'll see why in the next level.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah.
And actually, Hotline 1 and 2, they function in very different ways. The way you bait enemies is different. The way you kill enemies is like different. In Hotline 1, they can tank multiple, like one shot, right? Hotline 1.
Which enemy, sorry?
In Hotline 1, enemies can tank like shots.
Oh, sorry, yeah. In Hotline 1, yeah, there's a, what is it, like 25% chance, I think, that any enemy can just survive a bullet. It's pretty nice.
So that's pretty much the reason why in like Hotline 1 you play only with melee, because it's a one shot, and in Hotline 2 you pretty much kill in one shot with a with any weapon. So
yeah, that is one good thing about Hotline 2. Yeah, that is right. As random as Hotline 2 can be sometimes, yeah. In Hotline 1 it can be infuriating when you shoot a guy and you know you hit him, but you know he tanks it and then you just die. Unfortunately, that is almost balanced out in Hotline 2 by a lot of other things. Namely, I mean, Jesus, what can we talk about first? Pickup glitch? That's a thing.
Oh, we haven't had one yet, which is good.
I shouldn't even mention it actually, lest I jinx the entire run. But yeah, there's a thing called a pickup glitch in Hotline 2, and essentially what that is, it's just sometimes if a weapon is like beside a wall, it will just be very hard to pick up. I know that sounds like weird, but trust me, if you play this game for like, it's hard to notice it when you just play the game casually, but if you start to play this game like a decent bit, you will notice it like happen all the time, and it is infuriating.
So we're playing the first build level. One thing he has for himself is the Flamethrower, which is pretty much the best weapon in the game. It can shoot through windows, even though it shouldn't, but it's a minor glitch the game has. You just have to hug the windows and shoot at a 90-degree angle, and it just goes through. It kills like everything in one hit, fatties included, so...
Oh, the Flamethrower, thank God for the Flamethrower, that's all I'll say. Especially in hard mode. I mean, the Flamethrower is by far the best soldier weapon. This is a soldier, by the way, Beard from the first game. Essentially, his mechanic is you could choose a weapon at the start, so say the Flamethrower, and then you can right-click to switch to a melee. But yeah, the Flamethrower is by and away the best weapon soldier has. It's also a New Game Plus item. But yeah, hard mode is New Game Plus item.
So we're doing the only skip in the game that we are able to perform so far. So there is a sewer section, and we don't get to play it because for whatever reason, we don't know why, if we activate the cutscene at the same time as we kill the last guy, the game doesn't understand what's going on and it just allows you to live. Which saves like maybe a minute and a half.
Oh, in hard mode, yeah, it's a massive time save, yeah. Now moving on to another part of the level, Dead Ahead. I wrote down a few notes about this run beforehand, and the only word I have written down for Dead Ahead is pain, because oh my god, is this level something else on hard mode. First screen isn't too bad. You have to dispatch these like turret guys here. They'll only show themselves when you peek them for like a certain amount of time, and you can do them. But there is just, I mean, as you can see here,
that's just great.
Nice. Okay, one of the first of many. As you can see here, I mean, Ash just does not have enough ammo to kill all the enemies he wants to here, so he pretty much has to like juggle these melee enemies while he shoots the gunners that are his main threat, and then clean up after. That was pretty clean. All of this is pretty doable until you get to the screen after this, which, I mean, I don't even have to explain. If you just take one look at it, you can tell it's like, it's just god-awful. But yeah, again, kind of at the whim of Gun RNG here a little bit. We want to see Mendoza's, which are like the, well, Mendoza's or the SMG, which are the two automatic weapons that can fall.
So for that screen with all the fatties, we just pretty much want like the Mendoza or a silent pistol. We didn't get to use the quote-unquote plush strat here, which is like using a glitch, teleporting yourself through the next screen. Because like for whatever reason, if you execute someone next to the level transition, it just transports you to the same coordinates on the other screen.
Yeah, which we'll probably talk about again in a later level, because a bit of a bounty on this game for a while that perhaps somebody would be enticed to look into, but yeah, that actually, to be fair to Ash there, that screen went pretty well. That's great. I mean, it's just there's very little room for error there, so that's very impressive.
Oh really, dog?
Yeah, I mean, with screens this massive, like dying near the end is such a bad time loss. It's not too bad dying near the start, but it can take 30 seconds almost to like get to the end of the screen. And if say like the last enemy kills it, it's just so disheartening.
And I messed it up again. Alright. Just focus and everything is fine. So you pretty much know you're like too slow at that level when the music ends. Pretty much. Pretty much a cue that you pretty much messed the thing up. Alright, so no gunners at the end. Good. I've had far worse than this week, so I'm gonna just say that it's fine. Please, no soft lock. Thank you. That would have been infuriating to soft lock myself again, like this week on the way back for no reason.
Yeah, screen transitions. We're not painting this game in a very good light, but it's not our fault. It's there's a lot of jank with Hotline too, which if you've been involved or following Hotline speedruns in any capacity, you'll probably know the game compared to the first is not the best for most people, but it's a love-hate relationship with this game. I have personally. It's still a lot of fun, but it's just there's a lot of jank.
So we're playing the Death Wish level. The Death Wish level is one of the hardest levels in the game, but it's actually one of the most fun because you get to play all the fan levels, all the fan characters pretty much.
Yeah, so we'll start off as Mark here. Again, Mark's section not too bad. Mark is, as I said, best character in the game. But the core screen here is, again, the theme with hard mode screens like these is that there's very little room for error. Ash is gonna be like attracting many enemies off screen with gunfire, and he's gonna have to remember that they're running at him while he kills other enemies in the face. With limited ammo as well, of course, because hard mode the ammo is always halved. It pretty much means as well that any gun that you pick up, you pretty much have to get your value out of it straight away, because if you drop it, I mean, all the ammo is going to be gone out of it pretty much. And here is the crown jewel of Death Wish, I'd say, the Tony screen. Again, not being able to pick up guns in this game is just it's a cardinal sin, especially with the improved reaction times of enemies in hard mode. trying to bait enemies here. Like, look at this, like through glass, and you have to wait for them. For, like, it's
so unlucky
like
on this one. That's just great.
Oh, yeah, and that's a prime example of Tony on the screen.
And
it's
and that death all across the screen is like total BS to me, but whatever.
Yeah, even a screen designed for Tony, like, it just shows how bad Tony is in this game. But Tony was the best mask in Hotline 1 by, you know, a decent margin. In Hotline 1, Tony had Killing Fist like in Hotline 2, but you could just pick up weapons. So it made juggling, you know, gunfire and melee very easy. And it is used in most Hotline 1 categories.
Like, seriously, he doesn't see me. That's awful.
Yeah, look at this guy. Oh my god. And that's the great thing about Hotline 2 as well. I mean, if you ask me, Ash was around the corner there, but no, the bullets just love to curve around. Yeah, at least the music's good. At least the music is banging.
You get to listen to some cool music, so that's fine.
This is Hotline 2, it's give and take, like, seriously.
Alright, we're good.
Okay.
So we're gonna play with Alex and Ash. You pretty much control two characters at the same time. Alex using the chainsaw, you move around and you use the chainsaw, and Ash is following around and shooting. But the problem is like super awful at like following you around, so...
Yeah, wait, is it Ash who follows you around or Alex?
Alex is the girl with the chainsaw and Ash is the one following around.
Okay, yeah. The pathfinding on Ash is just completely terrible. It's we could have maybe seen on Execution if we played as Alex and Ash, but yeah, it's rarely Ash follows you very accurately. But yeah, all things considered, you know, bar Tony, that was a pretty good death wish. And you pretty much can't account for Tony deaths. It's just a roll of the dice.
All right, so we're gonna use the Berserker mode for the writer on this one. I'm gonna be careful because I've been able to cancel the Berserker thing this afternoon. For whatever reason, I killed 2 enemies and it didn't count the first one.
Oh, excellent.
So
I just love Hotline 2.
That's pretty much why I took my time just making sure he was dead.
Yeah.
Good thing to know, on the PS4 version you cannot go Berserk. There's a glitch found, I think, by, if I remember right, Infamous Ozzy. He should be in the chat right now.
He is. At Infamous Ozzy. Hello, PogChamp.
Yeah, we all love you, mate.
You can't go Berserker on the PS4 on this level?
Yeah, apparently.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was
obvious not to finish this level.
When he asked me about it, I was like, nah, you must be doing something wrong, right? He sent me a clip from PS4 Share, and I was like, okay, so it's bugged. First kill, he kills the first guy, and then you can see that the reddish screen just resets, and you're like, okay, so it's a glitch.
So moving on to Stronghold now. Again, another level where the Flamethrower makes it so much more doable. The range on the Flamethrower is a godsend. You don't have to be super accurate with it because like the flames are just like they're pretty wide. But the main thing about the Flamethrower is the ammo. You get a lot of ammo at the start of soldier levels with the Flamethrower, making the first screen not too bad. You can then replenish your ammo with those boxes there to a max of 40. So you pretty much have to route around when you're going to go get more ammo and how many enemies you can kill with the 40 ammo. Usually it's just 1 ammo pickup on the screen, right? Yeah.
But the big problem is the flames are like, there's a huge range, but whenever they touch something, they just stop in their tracks. So in the last screen where it's like small corridors, it's like you have to be perfect on the center to be sure you're not gonna miss the kills. So I'm having a hard time on this one. So just gonna play it safe. And we're good to go.
Yeah, for some reason on massive screens like this in Hotline 2 as well, when the camera like stops panning. Sorry, go on.
The way he killed me just surprised me to no end.
Oh wow.
That was awful.
Jesus, yeah. That's the problem when you run out of ammo on the screen. It's very hard to conserve your ammo because you do want to just spam, because it's safe. But if you try and conserve your ammo too much, I mean you'll probably just not reach an enemy when you try to shoot him. But yeah, when you hit a corner on like a massive screen like this, the camera will usually like stop moving, and that actually messes up your mouse aim a decent bit. For some reason, if you like move your mouse off screen, it'll get like stuck, and you have to like jank it back. It's really weird. It's hard to explain. But yeah, runners of this game know what I'm talking about. It just feels really weird. Yeah, that was pretty good though, all things considered.
So, Withdrawal is like a weird level in itself. It's the only level where you can finish it by just dying in a specific screen, and
yeah,
it's also a way to tie up Hotline Miami 1 and 2. In terms of why do you find Jake in Hot and Heavy, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you can find where in the first game you can actually find the character you're playing as now, his mangled corpse in one of the levels. It's pretty funny. They really thought ahead.
Come on,
this level,
just die.
Yeah, so with the lack of ammo and the amount of enemies you have to kill here, especially the fatties, like it's hard to juggle the fatties and kill the main enemies here. It's like so tough. Yeah, this level here has like various meth labs scattered about, and if you shoot them, they just explode, as you could probably hear in your ears there very loudly.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's gonna happen again on the next level. So just for showing the tie up to Hotline 1, here's a cutscene where he dies. So we're gonna lose a bunch of time there, but it's like minor, a few seconds. Alright, so headphones running. The end of the level is gonna be very loud.
I was gonna spin it. I was gonna do a classic Snowfats joke. The audio is a little low here. Can we crank that a little bit? But no, I'll spare everyone on chance ears. So yeah, this is the last soldier level, right?
Yes.
Once again, I mean, the same thing applies as the others. Like Flamethrower, an absolute godsend on this level.
Nice rummer again.
Yeah, there's different types of enemies in this game, by the way, as well. There's patrol enemies, which will always take like a certain path. There are static enemies, obviously, that just don't move, and there's also enemies that will spawn in a location, but then randomly roam about. And sometimes they will roam into a not very desirable location, and they will catch you off guard.
Oh, and there's also the idle enemies, which are pretty much static enemies, but that cannot hear you when you shoot, pretty much.
Yeah. So you have to seek them out essentially. Oftentimes we'll route around the enemies that we have to visit. Otherwise, usually it's faster to just bait enemies to you instead. Wow, that one window. Showed us the window.
Exactly.
In Hotline 2. Yeah, the classic Hotline 2 meme is that it's just Windows the game. And honestly, not wrong. Especially on hard mode. Hard mode is just Hotline 2 on steroids. And I mean, I suppose that's what a good hard mode should be, but in this case, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Alright, so lower your volume a bit, just in case. Room goes boom.
So actually, in hard mode, well, in normal mode, usually you have to save Jacket. By the way, the guy who got blown up there is the character you play as in Hotline 1. But in normal mode, you have to actually like pick him up and bring him to safety. But for some reason, in hard mode, you can just leave him behind and just walk out, which is a lot faster. So later Jacket, I guess.
So we're starting Act 5. The entirety of Act 5 you're going to play as Richter, the guy that pretty much almost kills you in Hotline 1, except that you don't get to use his like signature silenced Uzi.
I love Hotline 2. For first blood, screen 1, you just can't get anything much better than this. Like, it's I mean, Ash is opting for the melee strat here, which is probably the safest. But at least in normal mode, I mean, people pretty much just reset until they get a good gun on the first guy, because it's just pain otherwise to try and kill everybody there. But yeah, Ash is getting some assault rifle there, thank God.
Yeah, and we didn't get the wrong warp on this one, so that's great.
Oh yeah.
So pretty much the wrong warp, the game has trouble setting up your checkpoint when you start the level, so if you die too quickly, you go to the previous checkpoint you had, so...
Yeah, which can be on a previous level. So oftentimes if people like die when they load into a level before their checkpoint is set, they will just warp back to another level. And you might see if you viewed the Hotline 2 in-game IL leaderboard at all, that's why a lot of the levels have, like, you know, times that are just completely unobtainable because of that glitch. But it's completely useless, or unusable rather, in the full game, so... yeah, Demolition, again, just another level where you really want automatic weapons. Just you want to be able to mow down the hundreds of enemies that are on the screen quickly. In Hotline 2 as well, you can't really get multi-kills with shotguns, which really makes you want automatic weapons more as well. In Hotline 1, usually you can get like 3 or 4 kills sometimes with one shotgun blast. But in Hotline 2, once your shotgun blast like hits one enemy, your other pellets dissipate usually. So
the reason I said it here is because I actually need a specific weapon. So if I have like a double barrel like in the first attempt, it's no use. I cannot do the screen properly. There's another strat that Stunpack has, but I'm not fond of it, so... Did you... Okay, aim properly and everything is gonna be fine.
Show Stunpack. Sent me a lovely picture when I got Sub 15 Hotline 1. I can't mention what he sent me, but I should say it's not stream friendly. He's also a very good runner of this game. more importantly.
Oh. That's some poor roamer's RNG on this one.
Yeah. Not a double barrel here as well. You pretty much never want to see a double barrel in hard mode, due to the fact that, as we said, ammo is halved in your guns, so half of 2 is 1, so you have 1 shot when you get a double barrel. Not very useful, because usually you can kill somebody with that 1 shot, but it will also attract the rest of the level, and you just have no weapon to kill them, so good. Yeah, in scenarios like this, I mean, you pretty much just have to...
oh my god.
Like, learn the pattern every time, and just kind of adapt.
Thank you very much.
Oh, what a guy. Yeah, sometimes the roamers can give you just patterns that are, you know, take a few attempts. Did I mention Hotline 2 involves a few deaths, especially hard mode?
So we arrive at like one of the hardest level in the game.
Just premium Hotline 2 stuff here.
Shout out to 1864 for actually spending like more than 100 hours just doing individual levels on this one.
Yeah. Oh, this is a doozy. So we start off here with a pretty simple boss fight. You just gotta dodge this guy and then whack him with a pipe. Also, actually, we can mention the skip at the end of this, but
yeah, so pretty much if you're able to dodge all the enemies right there, you can leave the level early. We don't know how to do it. The enemies are invincible. They have infinite ammunition. However, if someone finds a way to do this, there's a €100 bounty on this. And I'm actually upping this one to 200. Because I really want to be able to skip this.
Please, God.
God help us.
You're gonna save a lot of lives finding this glitch, trust me. Like, the loading zone exists. Like, if you use the engine to become invincible there and walk down there, like, it just the level ends. But so there is like theoretically a way to do it, which some of us have tried to get working. Like what Ash mentioned earlier, if you remember, there is a glitch in Hotline 2 where if you execute an enemy on a screen transition, you will go through that screen transition and load the next screen, but you will be at the coordinates that you were when you execute the enemy. So that means you can spawn on a screen somewhere where you shouldn't be. And you can actually do that to almost get out of bounds on that first screen where the loading zone is. But you're like you always get stuck in a wall. Like you can't get out of bounds far enough to where you don't get stuck. And it's like so close, but it's just not doable. So using that method, I don't think it's possible. But yeah. Anyway, we just wanted to mention that just in case anyone gets some inspiration. But yeah. By the way, release, very hard level, as you can probably tell. It has, you know, your normal melee and gun enemies, but also has these charger enemies, which, you know, alone aren't too difficult. You just have to, well, you can't shoot them yet. You have to either time your melee on them or throw a weapon at them and they'll get knocked down. But, you know, another classic Hotline 2 thing. They can pretty much like phase through corners. So if you're trying to fight one of those guys like at a corner, you will pretty much always lose because they will just latch onto you before you can even hit them around the corner. It's pretty nice. So you'll see Ash like avoiding them around walls and corners because they just act very weirdly.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like the most glitchy enemies in the game, so you don't want to mess with them. Alright, so we have a shotgun here, which is the RNG I actually want on this one. Too bad the guy on the top didn't have a shotgun. That's a nice pickup glitch, by the way.
Oh yes, juicy. Yeah. Oh, and they call it the death, like it's yeah, it's great. Yeah, the revolver. I mean, both weapon choices here, the revolver and the pump, both give you 3 bullets. And then you pretty much always want the pump because the revolver has like very bad accuracy. Most weapons in this game have bad accuracy, but especially for a single shot weapon, trying to shoot somebody at distance is pretty much impossible a lot of the time. Yeah, you have to really be careful that you don't get caught out by the fat enemies here, because you pretty much can't just kill a fat enemy outright in hard mode a lot of the time, because you just don't have the ammo for it. So you pretty much have to shoot them once and then wait for them to bleed out. So you have to like juggle them